Students, Sairam. Now today we'll be doing the revision of lesson number 4, that is economic development. Now in the previous lesson we have learnt about the challenges that India had to face. We had revised in short. Now today also this lesson will just revise in short about the various economic development that had taken place. Okay, so as we are going to learn the content in the first part that we have learned was the India's economic policy, study of mixed economy and the 5 years plans and their success and failures. Okay, so all this we are going to learn in short today. We'll just revise in short. Now, as after independence, we know that Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the Prime Minister of India, he had adopted mixed economy to achieve economic development. And in a capitalist system, as we see, the means of production are privately owned, while in socialist system, the means of productions are owned by the state. So, as a result, a mixed economy works both in private as well as public sector, wherein it is not centered with only either with the state or with the private sector. So mixed economy is convenient for both. So in order to achieve the economic development of modern India, we gave preference to model of mixed economy. And then as there were three parts in this kind of economy. Now which were the three parts? One was the public sector, private sector and the joint sector. So these were the three parts in the mixed economy. Now when we talk about public sector, we see that the industries in this sector are completely under the control and development of the government. For example, the production of defense equipment. So whatever is the production, it is for the country, for the benefit of the people, and for earning in whatever income it will earn, that will be benefited to the country. Whereas when we talk about the private sector, the industries in this sector are owned by the private industrialists, and then the government supervises and controls them. For example, the consumer goods. Okay, so it is supervised by the government, and then they are bought into the market for sale. Then we have the joint sector. In this sector, some industries are owned by private industrialists, while some are run by the government management. And for mixed economy to run smoothly, there is a need for coordination between the private and public sector. So there should be proper coordination between the public and the private sector. Now this system, it aims at maximization of production and popularization on a large scale. So that is the aim of mixed economy. More and more production and popularization on a large scale. So that as a result, an effort was made in this system to bring together the good aspect of both the capitalist and the socialist system. A mixed economy cannot ignore the profit motive, ownership, discipline, time-bound planning, etc. So all these things should be taken into consideration under the mixed economy. It also naturally tends to give priority to national interest. Of course, national interest also should be governed under mixed economy, and long-term development is stressed upon with priority. So whatever policy or schemes are implemented in mixed economy also, that should be for the long-term development of the country. And so the industries like defense, education, roads, railways, etc., they require huge capital investment, and the returns are delayed. And so the government has to take initiative in this. Now, India adopted the mixed economy model and 5 years plan for its development. The industrial policy of 1973 increased the speed of development, and more priority was given in this policy to control the influence of heavy industries, industrial families and foreign industries, and remove the imbalance in the regional development. So that was the main priority given to. Now, the government focused on the development of small scale industries and cottage industries. So even the rural area should also be benefited with this. So government also started paying more attention to the cooperative sector. Now, as we seen that India had adopted mixed economy, so then it made a planning. A 5 years plan was made in order to for the betterment of the economic development of the country. Now, this 5 year plan, as colonial power was exploited and India exploited India economically, country faced various problems like poverty, unemployment, population, then low standard of living, productivity of agriculture and industries. So as we were served as bonded labor by the Britishers. So they were backward in the field of knowledge, science and technology. And for all this to bring about an upliftment, planning was essential. So Planning Commission was established in 1950 under the chairmanship of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, and it formulated 5 years plan. And what did it include? It included rural and agricultural development, balanced industrialization, provision for a minimum standard of living and economic development consistent with democratic ideas. So that's what was mentioned in the Planning Commission. Importance was also given to people's participation, formation and implementation of 5 years plan. General principle of planning to fulfill the needs of people. So all these things were planned accordingly, and when this planning was made, there were some goals of this plan. Now what were that? One thing was to increase in national income, that is will help in economic growth, rapid industrialization, increase in agriculture production and use of human resource. So these were the goals that that should be achieved with the help of the planning that was made. Removal of disparity in income and health, price stability, population control, eradication of poverty and improvement in standard of living, develop social service, make economy self-sufficient. So all these things were planned accordingly. So now we have already studied all the 5 years plans that were made, and from first 5 year to the 9th 5 year plan we have learnt in detail. We are just going to have a glance. Now the first 5 year plans, what was that? It was development of agriculture. So main concentration was on agriculture sector, irrigation and flow control, heavy industries, education, transport and communication and health. And it planned economic development of the country. Then we could see that in the second 5 year plan, the concentration was on industrialization of the country and irrigation. So as a result, iron and steel industries at Bhilai, Durgapur were set up. Then we had the ply factories, shipbuilding, multiple purpose river projects. So this was planned in the second 5 year plan. And in the third 5 year plan, balance in industries, agriculture, increase in national income, heavy industries, employment and alleviation of poverty. So first 5 year plan was concentrated on agriculture sector, second was on industrialization and also agriculture, more was on industrialization, and in the third 5 year plan it had planned for the balance of both. Then we have the fourth 5 year plan. So in that fourth 5 year plan, what was it? Economic self-sufficiency and socialist pattern of the society. In fifth 5 year plan, increase in national income, employment, education, medical facilities, electricity and communication. These things were considered. And in the sixth 5 year plan, alleviation of poverty, employment generation, increase the growth rate of economy. So several programs like IRDP, RLEGP and NREP were being set up in order for the development. Now if you read the textbook, you can learn about it in detail, and it is already explained in the previous video also. In the seventh 5 year plan, it was concentrated more on development, modernization, social justice and self-reliance. And so there were various schemes like Jawahar Rozgar Yojana, then Indira Awas Yojana were being set up. Then in 8th 5 year plan, maintenance of steady growth rate, population control, removal of illiteracy and primary education. Then there were also schemes implemented, like programs were started: Pradhan Mantri Rozgar Yojana, Arthik Sahay Yojana, Mahila Samriddhi Yojana. And then in the 9th 5-year plan we had agriculture and rural development, new industrial policy, increase economic growth. And in this 5-year plan also programs were started, like Swarna Jayanti, Sahari Rozgar Yojana and Bhagyashree Child Welfare Policy. So these were the various schemes implemented, programs started, and facilities were provided according to the different 5-year plans. Okay, so children, these were the 5-year plans. Now during the tenure of Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and Lal Bahadur Shastri, banking was a monopoly of the private sector, and these banks represented different industrial groups, and the directors of these banks, they were working towards developing industrial sector and increasing its profit. So more concentration was only on the industrial sector by the banks also. And so in order to stop this, the government nationalized the Imperial Bank in 1955 and got it converted into the State Bank of India. So after the 5-year plan, we could see that there was a need for the nationalization of bank, so that whatever income is earned, that could into the government treasury, which could be used for the betterment of the people in the country. Then the bank opened several branches all over the country in short while and played major role in development. Now after that, 20-point program was also started, and there were several provisions were taken into consideration. This 20-point program was started by Indira Gandhi. And what were the measures, provisions included in that was land ceiling for cities and agricultural land, equal division of wealth, minimum wages for workers, increase in water conservation schemes. Also, workers' participation in industry, national training scheme, and freeing bonded labor, prevention of tax evasion, economic crimes and smuggling, then regulation of prices of basic necessities, improvements in the public distribution system, improvement of textile industry, developing handloom industry, also housing, communication and education facilities to be made available, waiving of loans of the weaker section of the society. So these were the provisions which were included in the 20-point program. After this, there were also issues related to workers. Now as we have seen that industries were set up, factories were set up. So the first textile mill was started in Mumbai on 11th of July 1851 by Kawasji Dawar. And the mills were started in Dadar, Parel, Bhaikala, Shevdi, Prabhadevi and Varli. And this part came to be known as Girangaon, which means town of mills. And in 1980s, the increasing unrest among the workers was due to the economic conditions in the other sector, wherein the workers in the other sector were provided with good benefits, as well as whereas the mill workers were not getting those benefits. So in some industries, the wages of the workers were increasing. Also they were provided with bonus facilities, and which was not given in the mills. They were given getting more amount of bonus, more facilities than the mill workers. As a protest against this, the mill workers, they went on strike, and in Diwali of 1981, the workers expected to get a bonus of 20%, but the Rashtriya Mill Mazdoor Sangh, which was negotiating with the employers, they agreed for only 8 to 17% bonus, and they did not take the workers into consideration, into confidence. And this cut of bonus proved to be the cause of unrest. Some workers went to Datta Samant. They asked him to accept the leadership, and the workers of 65 mills came together, and Dr. Datta Samant led the strike. On 18 January 1982, 2.5 lakh workers went on strike, and so the Girangaon mills stopped running, making it seem like Mumbai's heart stopped throbbing. So this was a great setback, wherein all the workers went on strike and more of unemployed. The workers started a jail bharo agitation on 1st September 1982. 1.5 lakh workers took a march in the Legislative Assembly of Maharashtra state, and so didn't help at all. Even after this there was no change, and the strike completed a year. This was the first strike to have gone for a year, and in this period about 1.5 lakh workers became unemployed. Now after this it was a great setback for economic policy, and so the government decided to start a new economic policy. Now what was in the new economic policy? So we could see that the year 1991 is very important in the history of modern India. Then after the 10 general elections, P.V. Narasimha Rao, he became the Prime Minister of India with Dr. Manmohan Singh as the Finance Minister, and new policies were implemented in this by the Finance Minister. He adopted new economic policy of linking India's economy with the global economy, and for this fundamental changes were brought about in the Indian economy in tune with the global mainstream. So later during this period, Indian economy was in crisis situation, and before the P.V. Narasimha Rao government took charge, Chandrasekhar was the Prime Minister. During his tenure, the rate of inflation was 17% and economic growth rate had gone down by 1.1%. India had foreign exchange reserves only enough to last for imports for a week, and it became difficult to pay its loans. So now there need to be find some measures in order to overcome with this, and so there were certain remedies were thought of. So P.V. Narasimha Rao, he appointed Dr. Manmohan Singh as a finance minister to order to find a way out of this situation, and Dr. Manmohan Singh undertook many corrective measures and the situation began to change. What did he do? He removed the restrictions on foreign investments. He restricted the license system to 18 industries. In view of the increasing losses in the public sector, he opened the public sector for investments by private industries. In order to bring the share market under control, he established the Securities and Exchange Board of India, that is SEBI, in 1992, and National Stock Exchange was also computerized. He gave more priority to remove the specter of recession. So there were general agreements on tariffs and trade, that is GATT. It existed on the international level before the WTO came into being. It regulated commerce. In India, there were opposed extreme views about the World Trade Organization, that is WTO. Yet India decided to take its membership. India signed the South Asian Preferential Trade Agreement along the lines of the World Trade Organization. India removed the import restrictions on several commodities for SAARC countries. That is, then India also gave discounts on import duties. India opened up the insurance sector to private and foreign investments. So children, in this way we have learned the journey of India's economy from mixed economy to globalization. We have already learned it, but then today we have just revised through all this. So that's all for today children. Thank you.